say they won the next 5 matches after that, though. Saints have got Wellens at full-back, Gardner, Gleeson, Newlove and Albert in the 3/4. Sculthorpe returns and he comes in at standoff alongside Sean Long, who continues to captain the side. The forwards, it's Ward, Cunningham and Joint. He's no stranger to prop forward. He has played there for his country, for instance. Talau and Stankovic in the second row, and Darren Smith is the loose forward. And the bench is occupied by Hooper, Hyam, Bennett and Edmondson. The coach is Ian Millward. Now the men from the capital, Sykes at full-back, Kane, Roy, Martin passed a late fitness test, he plays. King has got over the flu, he's on the wing. Thorman and the leading try scorer in Super League for the 2nd year in a row, Dennis Moran. Forwards, Stevenson, Budworth and Bowden, Toshak, Retchless and Dimmock, who's the captain. And the subs, Purdom, Hamilton, Trindle and McConnell. The coach is Tony Ray. So London, they were 4th and 2nd in the first 2 years of summer football, but they are creating history by being here in the playoffs for the first time. They may be treading new ground as a club, but many of their stars have experience of playoff football in Australia. 10 of this squad, in fact, and 4 of them have won a grand final. And there is one of them, Jimmy Dimmock, who leads out the London Broncos, playing tonight in all dark blue. Meanwhile, inside the St Helens dressing room, 11 defeats so far. The most successful team of the summer era, perhaps, but this is their worst regular season in 8 years. Can they become the first team from outside the top 2 to make it to Old Trafford? They have been in 3 of 4 previous grand finals, winning all 3. They missed out in 98 and 2001 when, like this year, they finished 4th in the table. Their supporters know what it takes to get to a grand final, and so too do many of these players. This is where the season starts in earnest. The 28 weekly round Super League competition is the qualifying rounds for this. And Sean Long, alongside Megan and Cameron Sharp, looks like Cameron's a bit shy. They come out and, well, Cameron knows, and so too does Megan, that John Sharp, their dad, is off to coach the Huddersfield Giants at the end of this season. Looks like he's got his courage now, and so too of the supporters. They have the courage, and they hope their players do, to get all the way to another grand final. Steve-O, this is where it all begins in earnest.
Yeah, I'm nervous, Eddie. I love this situation, the pressure cooker, and it's going to be hot out there, especially for this man, Carl Kirkpatrick, who's had a wonderful season. Yes, I have said that. He has had a wonderful season as this fella.
Probably the only Warrington resident who hopes that Warrington don't get to the grand final, Carl Kirkpatrick. We're underway. The playoffs of 2003 are in motion. And St Helens as champions, looking to get over the top of the London Broncos. And Chris Joint, first touch back in the side. He has missed the last 9. He's had knee surgery. Plays the ball quickly. And here is Barry Ward, driving it into the chest of Steele Retchless. Good tackling by London, though.
Big job for Barry Ward, along with Chris Joint. They've got to set the platform. But that's one thing, and we just see the defensive qualities there of London. Tony Ray, their coach, has been so happy and impressed over the last 3 games. Their defence has been absolutely superb.
Too deep from Sean Long with the kick. There is the London Broncos coach, Tony Ray. And there is the man who kicked the ball. He had his 27th birthday on Wednesday, Sean Long. And so it's now London's turn to have ball in hand for the first time. And that is Joel Kane, who darted away from dummy half. Remember the hat-trick that he scored when last we saw the Broncos at Widnes turn the game round in the second half. Dimmock gets to his feet. That was Retchless. This now is Stevenson. Will all the crowd beneath us agree with you?
Certainly was. Got it right. A little bit lackadaisical there from Steele Retchless.
This is Retchless now. That's the last tackle for London. Budworth waits at dummy half. He finds Dennis Moran, who in turn gives it to Thorman, running it on the last London, taking the gamble, and it didn't come off. It's the turnover.
Obviously a ploy there by Tony Ray. St Helens would have been anticipating the kick there. Dennis Moran farming the ball out to his half-back partner. And Chris Thorman decided to go on his own. Individually, this guy is capable of doing anything.
You saw there, Steve-O, with Francis Stevenson over the top of Steele Retchless, and there again from Retchless. London will try and slow St Helens down, just as I predicted pre-match. There it is again.
Well, they get the basics right.
There's the first penalty.
And Carl Kirkpatrick not happy with it, rightly so. Can't fault this London outfit for at least testing the arm of the official. There you see what we call turtling, trying to get over. I don't like it in the game, but Nigel Roy got plenty of experience, but they could pay a big price here.
Yes, it's given St Helens valuable territory. This is joint. There's another push and shove, second penalty, quick in a row. And, well, they now know that the referee will not stand for it.
Well, not the best tactics by the Broncos so far. Two silly penalties. One that gave away the yardage forward, which allowed Saints to get into this position, and then when Stevenson just pushed him onto the ground on the second attempt, this should be a gift 2 points here, Millwood. As I mentioned in the build-up, Eddie, I would expect St Helens to try to finish London off in the opening 20 minutes. Two quick tries, the inexperience with a lot of the players out there in sudden death football on the Broncos outfit. It may just take its toll.
Long with the penalty then. First points of the evening for St Helens. They lead by 2-0. Well, Sean Long's needing one try for 104 Saints here. He hasn't scored a try in his last 8 matches. But he's been pretty accurate with the Bulls all season.
Full credit as well to his coach Ian Millwood to allow Sean Long to be the captain tonight. He's a sort of player that if you give him that added responsibility, he just lifts his game, and also it gives the opportunity to both Sculthorpe and Joint just to concentrate on the job in hand. And one of them, for both of them, will be to get into the swing of things. It's been a long time since they've played.
Wellens plays the ball, and here now is Willie Talau. Retchless and Stevenson again with the tackling, and Talau looking for another penalty. This time it wasn't forthcoming. Here is Gardner.
Well, the good thing you can see there, Carl Kirkpatrick, is getting them well back.
Sculthorpe now. Little half break.
Bowden went a little bit too high. You've got to go for the legs of this fella.
This is Smith. Here is Stankovic. Good tackle low down by Bowden. Last one. Sculthorpe to Long, and wide it goes to Wellens, and further wide to Newlove, who had to catch that behind him. Offloaded to Talau, and I think it's going to be the turnover. No, it's St Helens head and feed.
Well, I'm not so sure about that.
Hold them up, fellas. Hold them up.
Well, it's called that Jim Dimmock has actually touched that ball, but I'm not so sure. Oh, yes, he does on that one. But does he go into the tackle, or does he deliberately go for the football?
It was played by the London man. Let's not debate it.
You can hear Carl Kirkpatrick saying that it was played by Jim Dimmock. Interesting how they've changed the interpretation of that rule, Eddie, late in this season.
Well, we were tipping that there might be controversy in the playoffs if it continued like that. This is Newlove. He plays the ball to Chris Joint. A big debate for the touch judges and the referee in situations like that. Does the man play the ball deliberately? Sculthorpe out the back door to Gleeson. Here is Cunningham, and here is a chance. And it's Sculthorpe who is held up just short. Cunningham quickly off the ground to Wellens. London up in his face. One defender went on his backside. Wellens attacking them.
Great defence there by the Broncos. Moved out quickly, came into the arc, forced St Helens down the middle.
This is Long with a kick, and that's far too deep.
And that's brought about by the strong pressure of this defensive line. Well, it's all St Helens. Dimmick, I think, goes for the man. That's the interpretation that we were utilising nearly all the way through this season, and it seems to have changed. I don't know why.
No, we have been talking about that over the past couple of weeks, and there's certainly been no word from Stuart Cummings, who is the controller of the referees.
So you're saying that the referees are doing it on their own bat?
Well, presumably nothing has changed, and it's just interpretation. But certainly earlier in the season, I doubt if that would have been given as playing at the ball. But that is a penalty to London now. Cunningham giving Russell Bowden a facial, I think.
Certainly was, and then trying to turn him over. Experienced Russell Bowden also made sure that he was turned over right in front of the official. And to be fair to the merry whistleblower, this is the incident. He gets him down, and you'll see they go for a second little bit of a roll, but the experience there of Bowden certainly helped the official give the penalty. As long as he's got it both sides. The players, that's what they want. That's when the official gets the respect. Pretty difficult to try to convince the fans here.
Indeed so, and
they're one-eyed, aren't they?
Dimmick, well, they are, and well, that's what being a supporter is all about, I suppose.
Yep.
But Jim Dimmick was continuing the debate there with Carl Kirkpatrick over that incident where Saints got the head and feed. Anyway, it's all now down to Thorman to try and level the scores. That's the 40-metre line, and good kick, but he misses.
The most important factor, it went over the dead in goal area, so they will receive the football from the dropout on the 20, but that could be a costly error.
No penalties.
Only more reliant than that. Oh, what a take.
Great pick-up by Sykes. On the half volley, he picked that up, and a good run as well. He makes about 16 metres to the halfway line. Here's Stevenson.
That flat pass again. Don't worry for you viewers back home. Anything that's even 50-50 or even 60-40 the right way, this mob will be shouting.
Without a doubt. That's that one-eyed business you were talking about. Here's Bowden. Good run from Bowden too.
Some people think that, you know, it can affect certain referees, but I don't think it will with this guy.
Budworth off the deck to Moran. Goes wide to Thorman. Thorman then back to Sykes, who picked that up brilliantly one-handed. Couldn't get away from Stankovic, though. Did well to hang on to his collar. This is Dimmick. And Dimmick will attack them with Thorman. Good angle kick from Thorman, but just too dead. Just too deep, rather.
Well, the idea was there. The big problem for the Broncos that no one else knew where this ball was going. You've got to have someone running through. Now, whether Thorman thought that his halfback partner, Dennis Moran, would have been there, he normally is. I was at the Broncos game on Sunday, Eddie, and I just got the impression that Dennis Moran just went through the motions, obviously saving himself for this game. But
he got the try that kept him top of the try-scoring chart.
Yeah, he certainly did. But he didn't put himself about in that particular game. Now, I wonder if he's injured. Is he carrying an injury? We'll have to wait and see.
That's a good tackle by him on Sculthorpe. This is Cunningham. Oh, and Sculthorpe drops the ball, and London have it back.
Well, I can't see the reason behind that, doing a neat little inside move of the man that's just played the football.
This is Nigel Roy now for London.
Because neither side, look at that. Why on earth do you want to do that early in the game when you're in a good position? In sudden death football, you've got to make sure that your composure is spot on.
Yes, whoever loses tonight goes out. Same again tomorrow. The only team, or the only teams that have a second bite of the cherry in the top six are Bradford and Leeds, and they will meet next Saturday night at Odsal. That will be a collision and a half. Here is Moran, stabs the kick through. It bounced off a Saints leg and kindly into the arms of Wellens. Wellens, though, running straight, and then his tackle. There it is. Bradford Leeds next Saturday, 6 o'clock. Sky Sports 1. Don't miss that. In fact, don't miss any of these playoff games.
Good defence there by Tony Martin. As he wants to go out of this country with a big bang. He goes to New Zealand next season, of course.
From where, I was going to say from where Willie Talau came, but you know what I mean. Yep. He is a New Zealand international. Sculthorpe with a kick. into the arms of Andrew King fairly easily. Good chase by Stankovic.
One release! On me, fellas!
First kick in general play from Paul Sculthorpe. This now is Steele Rexless. Oh, he's nearly through. Good job that Barry Ward got the tackle in. Nigel Roy and Dimmock and wide to Thorman. And back on the inside it comes. There's no way through for Toshak. This is Dimmock. Good offload. Thorman again stabs the ball down the line. Invitation for the winger. Wellens has it.
Did well there. Certainly did. A little bit slow though with the London side. They really got to come across. Maybe it was taken out a hint of a obstruction. Yeah, Gardner certainly went across. Joel Kane. Not seen by the official, but good work from him.
Yes, protecting his fullback.
Always good to see. Oh, that nearly was an intercept.
Nearly was. Albert gives it to Stankovic. Well, the tackle camp continues, so it wasn't wiped down.
Just a good hit by Andrew King.
Here's Gleeson. Oh, he's away from the ran, and he's got Darren Albert outside him. Albert now with a clear run to the line. Albert to the corner. Oh, he slipped. And it was very well done by Joel Kane coming across.
Why didn't he just go for the corner? Can't believe it.
Long! He had delayed the inevitable. Sean Long gets his 100th try for St Helens. 100 tries for Sean Long. It might have come at a cost because Martin Gleeson is struggling in back play. But Long with an important try for Saints.
Big problem for Gleeson. Looks as though it's his knee. Neat little slip back inside by Sculthorpe. Just half got to him. Put it to the winger. Well, I can't believe that he didn't put the foot down. Well, as Eddie said, the inevitable would come through Long, but it could be at a price. That's what it meant to Ian Millwood. He's confident. He knows that ever since the grand final has been introduced, that no one outside the 1 and 2 has picked up the trophy. He's keep banging on about it over the last 4 or 5 weeks. Sometime it's got to be done. He's confident his side is going to be the one.
Well, if there is a team that can do it from 4th, it is St Helens. And don't write Wigan out. In fact, don't write any of them out at this stage, because Warrington really fancy their chances at Wigan tomorrow, and they're going to take a huge crowd with them to the JJB Stadium.
No doubt the drummer too.
Yes, he'll be well away from you this time though. You'll be all right.
Yep.
Leave the aspirin at home. Long then. Already successful with the boot and with the try, and that's 8 points to Sean Long. And 8 points to St Helens.
Sometimes sides take a gamble. They don't utilise the sweeper. That's the man that stands sometimes 5-6 metres behind the one central line of defence. As soon as Gleeson made that break, he knew that he had Paul Sykes to beat, and that was it. Did the right thing, offloaded to the winger, but it really surprised me that he did not go for that corner. They got away with it though,
and it looks like Martin Gleeson is all right, or at least he's going to run the bang off. But an 8-point lead for St Helens, but well, in playoff football, Clarkey, that won't be enough.
No, it won't, but I think London would have been delighted with the opening 10 minutes. Really, they contain St Helens, and they need to do that. They definitely need to keep the game very close up until half-time, and hope that as the pressure mounts on the home side, St Helens in the second half, they can pick up some mistakes and force some handling errors from them. They've got to hang on in there, especially now in this next 10 minutes. Can't allow St Helens to forge ahead with a substantial lead, because I can't see them coming back from that. Didn't surprise me that they attacked Dennis Moran on that side of the field. They want to use up some of his petrol in defence, because they know how dangerous he is when he gets the ball. They also maybe think that he's a weakness in their defensive line, and look to see them going out to their right-hand side through Gleeson. You can see the missed tackles already stacking up against the London side. But as we know, players and coaches, they love a challenge, and here's a big one there for the Broncos.
Sykes has picked up a couple of wonderful kicks through on the half volley tonight already. There was another one. Oh, that's a mistake.
Went backwards. Good refereeing there by Kirkpatrick.
Here's Tony Martin, heavily bandaged knee there at the dummy half.
To me, make it!
Not the best pass, was it?
No. Oh, this is a good run from Butler. Good tackle by Darren Smith.
A bit slow in the first and second markers there from St Helens.
This is Dimmock, and Dimmock taking them on, gets the ball away. Budworth hangs on to it, it goes back, and here is Trindle.
The one thing about Jim Dimmock, if you get anywhere near the line, is capable of creating something.
It's Dimmock here, and there's the kick through. One for Albert, that bounced kindly. Gets away from Thorman, flicks the pass to Wellens.
One release.
Well, Tony Ray wouldn't have been happy with that. Kick was good, chase was poor. Both went far too high, especially Thorman.
Stankovic, good tackling that time. Roy, Purdom and Moran. Tony Ray having made a couple of changes already.
Make it.
Well, he did a little bit of an enforcer out there. That's the reason why he's brought Steve Trindle into the fray.
Oh, and Rexless misses the tackle on Wellens. That's unusual. Edmondson's on for Barry Ward up front. Oh, Cunningham, not the best. Long.
Just lost control of it there. Luckily, it was going backwards.
This is Gleeson. He's away from that would-be tackle. Roy went a bit high. It's the last, though. Good defence from London. 40 metres away from their own line, the Saints. And Long with the kick over the top.
Play on.
Neat little weaving run from Joel Kane, and Chris Joynt taking a breather after 17 minutes 40 seconds of his comeback. Here's Paul Sykes now for the Broncos.
One thing about the winger Joel Kane, he's got plenty of pace. If they can just get him into open field of play, create all sorts of problems for this St Helens side. But I think Ian Millwood will want to get the message out there, a little bit more work from the first and second markers. You can see there London are poaching good yards forward.
Dimmock, it goes wide and he finds Toshak, who brushes away from one, but in the end Newlove completes the tackle. Dimmock waits dummy half. It's with Thorman, skips away from Edmondson, tries to get the kick in, and it wasn't the best.
That's poor play. He positions himself. He's the man that's supposed to be there to control the kicking game. If you get into a position, there's no point in just wasting it like that. You've got to try to turn the opposition around.
Bennett did well to hang on there. Cunningham waiting at dummy half. Sculthorpe, be delighted to be back in the fray. Had a real problem with the hamstring. Cunningham. And I'll tell you who else will be pleased to see Sculthorpe back at the playoff stage of the season. David Waite, the Great Britain coach.
Great Britain certainly needs him.
Long with a kick into open space. That's a good kick too. And Gardner's after this. And Paul Sykes in the end taking no chances.
Beautiful kick. See that Paul Sykes was positioned underneath his own sticks. Took him near eternity to get across. Going to take no gambles with that, and rightly so. Sean Long, slowly but surely, taking control of this game. Scorer of the first try. There's the man that elected to make him captain, Tony Ray. I'll be disappointed with the missed tackle count.
Sykes with the dropout to halfway, and 8 missed tackles by London so far. Nothing wrong with that one though, on Edmondson. And here now is Willie Talau.
Good basic football. Just basic football from St Helens at the moment. You can see there they're just piling through, get over the advantage, then they'll go the switch.
This is Long. Here is Sculthorpe. Showed it to one, showed it to another, got away from Moran. The ball goes to ground, it went backwards. Play on. And here is Albert. Oh, Nigel Roy flying at Darren Albert.
Nothing in it, just a grab. And swing the arm.
Sculthorpe to Long, a stab through, and Wellens was after that. And in the end, Paul Sykes grounding the ball in the owning goal area anyway, and then tackled.
Well, I spoke about the ability to apply the pressure. It's St Helens that's doing that. That's what should have happened by Thorman when it came to the last. He won't be happy. The London coach, Tony Ray.
Ian Millwood will be, though. He never really gives any hint of his feelings, does he, Tony Ray? That's a good dropout.
No penalties.
And they've had 2 London already, so Saints forcing the pace.
Well, that could have been a flop there from Martin, went down into it.
Forward pass. Forward pass called against Long to Newlove. The coach looks bemused and his captain looks even more.
Well, it's definitely forward, no doubt about it.
Keep your marker square, keep it tidy, keep your hands out.
Well, Newlove have to lean forward slightly, give himself away.
Let's
It's
go.
been difficult for a coach
Get
here.
in, Jim.
They listen to the crowd all the time, don't they? Now, can London get back into the swing of things? Get that composure sorted out?
Stankovic
To release.
with
Here.
Rob Purdon. Here is Reckless.
No, release. Come on, come on, come on.
King at dummy half.
Great
Big
defense.
hits by Cunningham. Edmondson was low down. Cunningham finished him off. King would have felt that. Here's Moran. Now Nigel Roy.
Came a little bit too early there, Roy.
Last one for London. Budworth to Thorman.
Play on.
Kick out wide. Now then there's a chance here. But Gardner dealt with it perfectly.
Well, Joel Kane looking at the touch judge and saying, well, that's the second time I've been taken out from the high kick, but that's better tactics there from Chris Thorman.
Here's Willie Talau again, the New Zealand international.
There you see it. No doubt in my mind that Sean Long went in on the angle.
Leave him.
Cunningham. Sean Long. Darren Smith. Away from two. Flicks the pass. Wellens. Wellens again.
Nigel Roy, come here.
And the referee wants a word with Nigel Roy.
He's getting a little bit too excited as the centre. Went pretty high. There it goes. Just the swinging elbow.
No, don't walk away while I talk to you.
Well, Wellens would, you can see there, he had the swing. Didn't make contact, thankfully, for this fella, Paul Wellens.
It didn't connect.
But this is the incident I'm talking about. There was no way in the world
Don't talk to me like that.
that he was going to go for the football. It just took Joel Kane completely out of the system. That's the second occasion that Saints have got away with that.
Back with me.
Well, I mentioned, Eddie, that if Saints did score 2 tries, maybe in the
on the line.
opening 20 minutes, it would be a long road back for the London Broncos, especially with the fact they're missing so many tackles.
Well, Saints are looking for something here with Wellens.
To release.
10 metres away, Moran with the tackle then. It's Long, they're attacking down this right channel again. Good hand movement there from Sculthorpe to Gleeson. And Gleeson is forced back into the field of play. Stankovic waits at dummy half. Saints wanting to get on with it. Here's Sculthorpe, so important to Saints. Cunningham spinning, eventually releasing the pass and finding Wellens. And London's defence gobble him up.
Release. Release.
Cunningham again. Long.
Ooh, great hit from Dimmock there. Heard him involved as well.
Going to be a penalty to
The
London.
other way, yeah.
Bennett was pushing and shoving at Jim Dimmock.
Well, Kirkpatrick got it completely right there, and you can see that hanging on to Dimmock's shirt.
Took
Trying to
exception
get
to
away.
that, though.
Yeah. It was messy. I've seen them given the other way for that.
Back with me. No penalty.
Well, the retaliator usually gets penalised.
Well, he won't get a gold star from Ian Millwood, that's for sure.
Trindle. That's good defence from St Helens. Oh, terrific.
That's lifted the crowd. And talking of lifting the Broncos, they certainly need the likes of Thorman and Moran to start combining. They've got to start asking the question to this St Helens defence. Phil, they look all at sea against this strong St Helens defensive quality.
They do, yeah, but I think they've got to play with patience, haven't they? Since they've conceded that try, Steve, I think they'll be pretty happy. They haven't conceded another. They've had to make 2 goal line dropouts. They've conceded a couple of penalties, and they've played too much of the game inside their own half, and yet still they're only 8 points behind. And you know, with a play with Dennis Moran's individual brilliance, that can soon be caught up from really behind. We've just got to watch really with the way that Saints play, though. They're dangerous on the fringes. They're going out wide and moving the ball around. So if they can hang on in there, keep that concentration up, eventually they'll get some ball. But they haven't had much time to attack. And
well,
again,
that's the biggest problem, as far as I'm concerned, is that Phil, is that they're missing so many tackles. That means that they're on the backward foot nearly every time Saints have possession.
Yeah, they are. And Saints dangerous centre when they get a roll on here now, running from dummy half. Long on the left and Sculthorpe playing on the right. They've gone a few times out to that right-hand centre position, and they do again.
Sculthorpe this time, though, will switch the direction courtesy of the kick. Oh, and it bounces unkindly, and it's come free. This could be a try for Long. It has gone all over the shop, this ball. And the video referee has to make the decision of how it arrived underneath the outstretched palms of Sean Long. And there's also a question about onside, offside. The kick, though, from Sculthorpe causing pandemonium.
Everyone's onside as far as I can see there. Great high kick from the man of the moment, Paul Sculthorpe. You do not allow that ball to bounce like that. Sykes was coming into it. He really should have gone for the football. You pay the huge price, and it's L-O-N-G that's going to be written all over this try. No doubt in my mind, they'll look to see whether it ricocheted. It did, but none of the St. Helens players. No doubt about that, there was no obstruction pushing Paul Sykes away. He really should have taken that on the full. You cannot afford to let a football bounce anywhere in the field of play.
Checking to see the onside now.
Yeah, they're all onside. But look at the time that he was allowed to get that kick away. They're not concentrating, the Broncos. He should have been put under a lot of pressure. They knew it was the last. They knew they were going to go for the kick, but you can see there, Paul Sculthorpe, he could have made a cup of tea before he kicked that.
Important try for Sean Long. He scored all of the St. Helens points now. That's his second. Unlucky for some, 13 for the year. It's the Sean Long show. 12-0, and Long has scored them all.
Well, there was 4 Broncos there that stood around and just watched Sculthorpe get that kick away. And talking of watching, Paul Sykes was at a pretty good end of season as the fullback. Made a right mess of that. And the Australian coach, Mr. Millwood, knows if this is converted that the Broncos, I feel, will not get back into this game.
Long 3 from 3. He's also scored the 2 tries. Sean Long and St. Helens 14 points. London 0. Not over yet though, Steve-O, for the Broncos.
Well, they haven't had the possession, but they've brought that about themselves. Got to make sure. I go back to that point when they were in a good attacking position. Chris Stallman made a very poor kick. On the other hand, this fella is putting a little dink through, creating all sorts of problems in this London defence.
Well, Sean Long waited 8 weeks to score his 100th try. He's now on 101 in his St. Helens career.
Well, release! Make it!
Amazing when it goes through a sequence like that of so many weeks without scoring a try, and then I wouldn't back against him getting the hat-trick now.
Come on!
14-0 though, St. Helens lead. Oh, straight into the face of Stankovic. He's offside.
He's got to be. Well, he's classified as a forward.
That's awful, that.
Well, if that's a forward, then this has to be offside.
Pull him up, fellas. Blue ball.
Either way, Broncos are going to get the possession.
Could have had a kick a goal though if the penalty was given. The referee saying maybe it came off the hands of Stankovic. Was the man who collected the ball, was he stood in front of the player or not? Anyway, it's academic now because the scrum's been put down.
Well, sheer hard work from London is not going to get through this Saints defence. They've got to come up with something a lot different to this. We keep saying that Dimmock is the architect when they get close to the line, but we've seen very little of Dennis Moran.
This is Thorman. Here is Moran. And that is Roy. And this is Andrew King. And the Broncos are in. The Broncos are in with Andrew King. And it's just what they needed. And it was Moran's kick, Moran's pass rather, that opened the door for Andrew King.
Just what the doctor ordered.
It silenced the majority of the crowd here at Knowsley Road. This has a quick response.
Couldn't have come at a better time. Around there, utilised the full back. And it did it ever so well, didn't they? Caught the defence out. Looping pass. Good play by Roy. Excellent centre play. No doubt that that is a tie. And it's a TRY that the Broncos were desperate for. It's an amazing thing, you know, over the years we've seen St. Helens. They're capable of scoring some sensational tries, and then they just go to sleep. And that's what they did.
Andrew King. He hadn't scored in 2 either. He signed a 1-year deal earlier this year. And he had a sensational start, Andrew King. 6 tries in his first 7 appearances. That's 15 now for the season. And this is Thorman. Important kick, this. He's got a chance. Just the wrong side of the post. 14-4. Well, that's better for London.
See the hesitation there from Sculthorpe. He expected Purdham to get that football. Good work there. Tremendous use of the foil, which was Purdham running through. And then he went very close to the goal area, but King had the presence of mind to get it down quickly.
Well, the kick-off and the chase led by Mike Bennett. Well, that will lift the Broncos' spirits. Here is Budworth.
And sometimes you need maybe the goal kick or the try that they've created. At least the first time that the Broncos have utilised that they've done something different. It's a good foil.
There's the kick from Dimmock, but Albert was waiting for that. Chase is good. Gives it to Wellens.
I'm not too sure that Wellens needed that. And they're coming from all angles.
Darren Albert again. Aidy Gardner with the run from dummy half.
Make it.
Good basic stuff from St. Helens. Every time the side kick downfield, you see both the wingers working hard to cart it back so that this fella can get the kick in.
Long's kick, and it's a good one too. It just runs too deep.
Get them all back.
Must have been wondering a little bit there, Paul Sykes. Still be a little bit shaken with the fact that the Sculthorpe kick was missed by him.
Come on.
Whether he lost it in the lights, I'm not quite sure, but it seemed to be running in the angle, so it really shouldn't have affected him.
Well, 10 points, the lead. Clarkey in the modern game, it's nothing.
It's not. They'll be very heartened by the fact that there was a great backline shot, wasn't it? They put some players in motion. They had a man behind the ball, some good handling skills, and all of a sudden, really, they made it look really easy to score in the corner. If they can get there again, they'll have to think they fancy the chances. A bit of space out wide here on the right.
Koshak gets it away to Tony Martin. Tony Martin these days, of course, playing at League, and we'll have an eye on the National League Grand Final and a place back in Super League next year with the Lee Centurions.
Oh, that was a hospital pass there, and that's Thorman.
Reckless from Rexless. There it is. The National League 2 Grand Final is live. Sheffield against Chorley at Keighley next Sunday at 1:30 Sky Sports 3, and then switch channels. Sky Sports 2 for 4 o'clock for Salford against Lee or Hull Kingston Rovers.
Now then, did his leg us over? It'll be a dropout. That just stopped a couple of inches from the dead in goal, and when he picked it up, Wellens, his foot was on the whitewash. Watch this. Yep. The ball stopped, and it was pretty close.
I don't think that that was right. I think he was in.
No, there, the second one.
Oh, the second one. Okay.
Yeah. When Moran applied the pressure.
There's nothing wrong with this.
Yeah.
Watch.
He lifts it in.
Bomb. That's okay.
Watch this one. Moran goes to him. Roy Moran.
You know, you could be a touch judge.
No penalties, fellas.
Oh, spare me, please. I know you think I'm a fool at times, but I'm not a total idiot. I wouldn't want their job for £1 million.
To release. Come on.
I
Come
bet
on.
you would. Retchless. Up the middle.
Hey, get off, John.
Keep your eye on Dimmock now.
Budworth. And here's Thorman. That's a great chink from Chris Thorman. That's what he's good at, taking defences on. London looking at something. Oh, that ball's come away. Penalty.
They'll take the 2.
Hey. Hey.
He's completely bewildered. Ian
Hands
Millward.
in.
And Tony Ray says, take the 2, we'll have the 2.
Well, they need them. Well, they were all over the joint whether Wellens pushed. Stankovic got the certainly got the hands in there. Or is it Mike Bennett? No, it's Bennett. He's the culprit. Apologies to Mr. Stankovic. Shakes his head.
Well, Tony Ray say we'll have the 2. Ian Millward shook his head.
They're wonderful supporters.
That's John Sharp, by the way, on the left of your screen. Ian Millward's number 2. He will be number 1 at Huddersfield next year. His children, Megan and Cameron, were the mascots tonight. And Thorman adds 2 more points to London's total. Well, 14-0 suddenly becomes 14-6, and the Broncos aren't out of this.
Just getting back to that point that these supporters that come up from the capital, they really do enjoy themselves. I think it's great. Okay, there's not the travelling thousands that we get from other sides, but who knows? Maybe in the next 12 months it may swell.
Well, a run in these playoffs, and it'll be great publicity for them. And certainly since that second St Helens try, they have found their feet, London. Here's Bowden. They're running with much more purpose now.
Well, they were confident to farm the ball out wide.
It's as if they had a warm-up for 25 minutes or so.
Come on.
And now they're running on all cylinders. The kick from Dimmock spins its way to the touchline on the far side.
Got a bit of a ricochet here. No, went through. Won't be happy with that. And if you're going to kick for position, it really should have been a lot further downfield.
Dangerous territory this for London now, with Saints getting head and feet at this scrum just before half-time.
Come on, Ross.
St Helens
Let's go,
have the
fellas.
habit
Saints ball.
of scoring
Come on, Ross.
valuable
Come
tries.
on, Ross.
Problem for Russell Bowden. Bit of a blood problem.
Stay there.
Towels wiped that away.
This is Wellens.
One release, make the
Can't
turn.
afford to go to sleep. Got to work hard. First and second marker, make sure that they go up as one unit.
That's
like that. That's great defence.
good tackle. Moran.
Come on.
And Steele Retchless inevitably. Hyam to Hooper.
Release. Here. Ball.
Hooper is hurt. Hyam gets the pass away to Edmondson, finds Long, and here goes Willie Talau. Willie Talau at full pelt. That's a fine try.
No doubt about it.
That is a fine try.
Momentum.
Just check.
Just
Double
wants to
movement.
check that there wasn't a double movement. But Willie Talau hit the ball at pace, and almost as predicted, St Helens just before half-time, have they struck a decisive blow.
Well, Sean Long utilised the man coming on the angle. This is the run from the big second rower, Willie Talau. No doubt about it, no second movement, momentum took him right over. No deliberate, and it is TRY. They know it, we know it, and that screen up there will show it.
Ian Ollerton agrees. First try for St Helens for Willie Talau, and he chooses to score it in this important playoff match.
Well, good work by the halfback Sean Long, but was there a hint of obstruction? Certainly took out Chris Thorman, and I think the other one was Nigel Roy, and when he found the ball out wide, as you'll see here, watch Long, boom, they both went for the dummy man, and he was away. Neat little step there. Doesn't matter when they got to him, the momentum takes him over. Watch this. Boom. Confused everybody apart from this fella. That's a nice step, and that is a nice try. Enjoyed by the man who is convinced that they will not be losing the silverware from this ground.
New man on the score sheet then, Willie Talau. And can Sean Long add the extras? He can. Looks like he's brought the shooting boots tonight. 20 points to 6, St Helens at half-time. Well, 30 seconds away from half-time. I think that'll be the way it stands at the half-time siren.
Bitter blow as well. Just when London slowly but surely was getting themselves back into this game. They were becoming a lot more positive, and then they just fall apart. Good work, though, by Long. You take the gamble, you know, when you utilise someone coming back on the angle, and that was Wellens coming through the gap. Created 2 to go in for the dummy runner, and it was always going to be wide open for Willie Talau. Good work.
Here goes Mickey Hyam. There's the half-time siren. It is 20 points to 6. Well, London have got themselves back into it at 14-6. Tony Ray reflecting here on the curateg of the first half, really, for London. They had a purple patch of about 5 minutes where they scored the try and kicked the penalty, got themselves back in position, but then right on the stroke of half-time, Willie Talau with his first try in St Helens colours since he arrived from the National Rugby League of Australia. Right after that, it was the Sean Long show. Saints ahead, 20 points to 6.
British boxing's brightest spark.
Every punch like a kick from a mule.
Ferocious and relentless. Cold and merciless. Destined for the very top. Ricky the Hitman Hatton makes the 10th defense of his WBU light welterweight title against Argentinian Aldo Rios. Saturday fight night. Tomorrow at 8. Sky Sports 1.
A Ford Fiesta dreams of showing you what it's made of.
Love, you said you'd deal with this credit card balance. It's sort of scary.
Yeah. We hardly even notice it anymore, do we?
A debt you don't nail down can become draining. Get a rate that starts low and stays low by transferring your balance when you take out a Capital One no-hassle Platinum card.
Fight this, Vampy. I've transferred to Capital One.
What's in your wallet?
B&Q have always thought you shouldn't pay over the odds for a great-looking floor, so we have our biggest ever range of beautiful laminate floors that are hard-wearing, stylish, and incredible value, with prices from just $4.78 per square metre.
Affordable style? You can do it when you're B&Q.
Feet down on your knees. 3, 2, 1, down. Compose yourself. Compose yourself. Off you go. Good lad. Get away.
How much you think we can take that guy for? 30 grand. More.
Academy Award winner Nicolas Cage in a Ridley Scott film, Matchstick Men.
When you take out an open plan mortgage, you also qualify for a borrowing rate of just 4.5%. Ideal if you want to make other important purchases. Call into your local Barclays or visit openplan.co.uk.
Either Wigan or Warrington will bow out of the grand final race on Saturday night. It promises to be a full-blooded affair, this. It's 10 years since Warrington won in Wigan. Can they end the hoodoo? Two formed teams, they're coached by ex-Warrington teammates, and it all starts at 6 o'clock on Sky Sports 1. The playoffs now are underway, and the champions are 14 points ahead at half-time against the London Broncos. Saints finishing 4th after the regular weekly rounds, London finishing 5th. 20 points to 6. It was the Sean Long show at one stage. And Ian Millwood having a very word close-up with Paul Sculthorpe after his first 40 minutes back after some 9 games out, injured with a torn hamstring. And Tony Ray making a point, somewhat graphically, to his defenders maybe, inside the London Broncos dressing room. Do they have 40 minutes of their season left, or is there something else around the corner for them? Be a big ask to come back against St Helens, but it has been done before. The try right on the stroke of half-time, though, could be absolutely crucial for the Saints. They lead by 20 points to 6. 14-6, Paul Cullen. Wouldn't have been so bad for London. They had a little patch in that first half where things were going okay for them. Then they conceded late on.
Well, I honestly don't think at 20 points to 6 it's as convincing a margin as the score suggests. I think it's an awful lot closer than that. And if you just take away for 1 second that final try from Willie Talau in the closing seconds of the game, it's been a very, very even and competitive contest. You know, London have conceded a long-range break from Martin Gleeson and then conceded a bomb. And I generally feel Tony Ray can be saying to his troops at half-time that you've a right to be disappointed with what you've done at the top end of the field. London are still in this game. They just have to be a little bit smarter and more efficient when they're in the top end of the of this field. The kicking game particularly has been poor from the London Broncos. They've not put sufficient pressure on that St Helens back line. And you know, a few more smarter plays can turn this game around.
I think the difference between the two sides, though, London don't have the killer blows that Saints do. St Helens, they really get into you, don't they? If you make a mistake, it counts.
Yes, absolutely, but possibly not yet. Dennis Moran needs to find his running boots, and so does Chris Thorman. You know, again, the kick game has been a little bit lame. It's too easy for Saints to sort out. If they get that act together and put Saints under pressure, they can test them even further. But the moment they back off, this world-class St Helens side will cut you to ribbons, as we've seen tonight. Limited chances from the Saints, but when they've come, they've took them.
Steve-O hinted just before the match that Thorman and Moran held the key for London. They've not turned up yet.
Well, they haven't got the key, have they? I mean, they've left it behind down there in the capital city. And I mean, when you make 14 missed tackles in the first half, most of those coming in the first 20, you're always going to have a bit of a problem. And as Paul Cullen has already mentioned, the kicking game is non-existent. They have not been asking the questions, and it didn't surprise me that they came up with the first good break of the game. Gleeson, well, he passed to Darren Albert. Surprised me that the winger did not go full pelt for the corner. They came up with it anyway, slipped through. He was taken, but from the resulting play of the ball, Cunningham, a simple pass, and Sean Long, who's been outstanding in this first half, controlling things out there. Then the kick from Sculthorpe. 4 London players just allowed him to do that, as did Paul Sykes. That it bounced, and Mr. Long says, I will have try number 2. It looked curtains, didn't it? But full credit to the Broncos. The first time they put a passing move together out wide, they utilised the dummy runner, Will, and the Moran pass puts King in, very close to the in-goal area. But a killer blow, this. Watch how Long uses the dummy runner here. Sucks in the 2 would-be defenders. They were confused. Willie Talau, he was certainly on the way to the line. Doesn't matter. Nice step, even though Dimmock got close to him. No doubt about it that no double movement in that situation. It really is going to be difficult now for Tony Ray to lift his charges, mainly due to the fact, as they were walking off at half-time, a lot of the London players' heads were down. It's going to be difficult.
It is going to be difficult. It's not unretrievable, though, or irretrievable. I'd make a new word. I'm a Steve-O all of a sudden. It's not irretrievable for London Broncos in the second half. And I'm sure, Phil Clark, that will be your view of things as well, if you get the right word, that is.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a positive vibe still in the London Broncos dressing room. They know that they can play a lot better than what they did in the opening 40 minutes. And with the fact that they're only 14 points behind, there's got to be some positives they'll take from that. the aspect, as Paul Cullen has pointed out, was the poor kicking game, really. They didn't put St Helens under enough pressure. He's just one option, really, on the 5th tackle where it was just too easy. They didn't ask anything. Conversely, as the game went on, St Helens tended to kick the ball far better. It's a brilliant kick there from Sean Long, and on the back of that, they got a second consecutive goal line dropout. Unfortunately, they didn't turn that into a try. Then Saints put some pretty strong defence in there. A good hit from Edmondson, and driving the opponent back just lifts your whole team. They took the player back there almost 10 metres, massive boost. But London also upped their defence. Good hit from Moran. Just a shame that just a few seconds after that, Talou got the corner in the try wide out in the corner for St Helens. But I think there's a lot really for the London Broncos to come out and really give this a shake. They've nothing to lose, 40 minutes to go, everything to play for.
Everything to play for indeed, but that try right on the stroke of half-time. In soccer, they say if you score just before half-time, it makes the opposition's head go down. And in years gone by, you know, Paul, it was Wigan's turn, wasn't it? It was always Wigan's trait to score just before the break. Saints have adopted that now, haven't they?
Well, they do work decent pressure in good game time, but let's not do the Broncos an injustice. There are 10 Australians playing for the London Broncos. That's 10 guys with NRL experience, and that's the toughest, most intense competition in the world of rugby, league and union. These guys are no mugs, they know what they're doing. The moment Saints step back, they're going to jump up and pounce, but they need to take the lead from the two halfbacks. You know, good signs for Great Britain against the Australians at the back end of the year. If Paul Sculthorpe has a bad back that's affecting his hamstring, it's been thoroughly tested. The Broncos have absolutely smashed him every time he's either passed the ball or been in collision, and it looks like it's holding up.
It does, and that will be bad news for London, but it will be great news for Great Britain and St Helens. The champions are ahead by 14 points at half-time, and they will look to build on that in the second half. But hope will spring eternal for London. Quick try from them, and it'll all be back on again. Saints ahead, though, 20 points to 6 at half-time.
Walking on the beaches, looking at the beaches. Well, I've got that no-kid girl that you got some sundown lotion in that bottle of yours.
In England, presents are given to the bride and groom to set them up in their new life.
Oh, thank you. Cheers.
Whereas in Malta,
Thank you very much.
guests can expect a present as a memento of the day.
Bye-bye.
We never underestimate the importance of local knowledge. HSBC, the world's local bank.
Zoom, zoom, zoom. Zoom, zoom, zoom. Yeah, zoom, 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 zoom. Zoom, zoom, zoom. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Zoom, zoom, zoom. Yeah, 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 yeah. Zoom. Yeah, zoom, zoom. Yeah, zoom, zoom.
The Mazda MX-5 with free insurance until 30th of September 2003.
Extra lows at B&Q means low prices on all standard crown-coloured emulsions just got lower. Save over £4. Extra lows, our low prices just got lower.
Bev?
Kev! Bev!
Kev? Bev?
Kev?
Bev! Kev!
With an AA car loan, the typical rate is just 6.9%. So you might surprise yourself with what you can afford.
Nice car.
Thanks! We used to have one of those.
To get more car for your money, just ask on 0800 374 999. Call now, and you could also get a free AA car inspection.
I'm here to tell you about The Month. It's an unmissable interactive CD-ROM from the Sunday Times. It previews the best entertainment every month. Just slide it into your computer. Preview 9 of the biggest films and book cinema tickets. Sample and buy up to 20 new albums. And if you buy one, you get one free. The latest games. DVDs. Kid stuff. The arts. And this month's exclusive feature is Attack of the Toons!
Hey, Marshmallow Boy!
It's one hell of a ride.
If you're looking to buy a home or switch your existing mortgage, you'll want a mortgage that's straightforward, one with no leaving fees, so you're free to go whenever you want. And of course you'll want to avoid high interest rates and find a low one, like 4.6% APR. So for a quote, visit us at www.hsbc.co.uk/mortgages, call us on 0800 520 420 or come into your local branch. HSBC, the world's local bank.
We will ride into battle, and this will be our horse.
When we go into battle, I will be the first to set foot on the field, and I will be the last to step off.
We are cut off. Copy, we are cut off.
And I will leave no one behind.
So help me God.
We Were Soldiers, tomorrow at 9 and 10 on Sky Movies.
We'll know the grand finalists in Australia at the end of this weekend. Sydney Roosters against the Canterbury Bulldogs, live Sky Sports Extra in the morning at 10:30. And then the minor premiers, the Penrith Panthers take on last year's beaten grand finalists, the New Zealand Warriors. Sky Sports 2 Sunday at 10. This is the first match of the Tetley Super League playoffs, and St Helens 20, London 6 at the start of the second half. Remember, 12 months ago, St Helens topped the table, and then went on to win the grand final. Worth making the point that they have scored 42 tries and 202 points more than London this year. They've conceded 27 tries and 161 points less. No comparison in terms of overall performance during the course of the year, but only one place between them at the end of the season. So it all counts for naught. And it's all a question of how this St Helens team, who are keeping London waiting, they're out on the field. It all depends now how this London side and how Chris Thorman and Dennis Moran perform in the second half. Tony Ray, a man alone with his thoughts. This is gamesmanship by St Helens. They're still inside the dressing room, Steve-O.
They've done it before, and perhaps trying to make the London Broncos reflect on what will come to them in the next 40 minutes. I mentioned before the kickoff that one of the biggest positives that Saints have is that the likes of Mickey Hyam will probably be told now to run more and more from dummy half. And if they do that, they've caught London out in the first 40 minutes quite a few times. And we all know that the speed of Mickey Hyam. For London, they really do have to get their half-back combination into full swing. We've seen very little of Dennis Moran. I posed the question midway through that first half that we hadn't seen him. Has he come into this game carrying an injury?
Well, there is Dennis Moran. Steve-O saw him last weekend in the final match of the weekly rounds. He did enough and nothing much else, apparently, other than score the try that kept him top of the try-scoring charts in Super League. Looked like he was guarding himself for this week, so Tony Ray would be looking for a big game from him in this second half. Indeed, he'd be looking for a big game from all of his stars. We will no doubt hear what was said in the dressing rooms at half-time from Bill Arthur in a few moments.
The one advantage they do have, Eddie, is that London throughout this season, they have been extremely slow starters. They perform better in the second stanza.
And there have been some classic encounters between these two clubs over the years. Yep. It's a good kick from Dennis Moran. He's looking for a 40-20. If it had got the right skip there, it would have found its way to the touchline. As it is, Wellens has to run it back.
Great chase as well.
Oh,
they're doing well. That's good stuff. The trouble is, there's only two London players there. Another player helping would have put the full-back in the in-goal area. Well, they're a little bit lazy on several occasions were London in that first half. And there is another occasion which will not make their coach Tony Ray happy. They just stood around and let the two try to do the work.
Long with a big kick downfield, and Sykes underneath it, catches it on the run and drives the ball forward. He goes round the would-be tackler Edmondson. Good job that Long got a hand on him.
Great play from the fullback.
Here is Stevenson. Well, this is an opportunity for London now. Right at the start of this second half, Bowden Gets the ball away. Hyan is after it. And what happened
backwards.
there? It went backwards. This is Moran. And this is Purdom. 4 tackles gone. This is Roy now for London. That's the last one. Can London turn this into something? Moran stabs it through. It's picked up gratefully by Wellens, and he counters.
Well, the idea was there, Eddie, but it was a poor option. They finished very badly indeed there. Not the best kick.
Right, half-time news, Bill.
Eddie, Ian Millward's main concern early in the second half is that Saints maintain the good completion rate they showed in that first half, and other than that, satisfied with a very workmanlike performance from his side. Not the same from Tony Ray. Dissatisfied with a lot of aspects. Defence, one of them.
And they won't be happy with that. That's a wonderful ball from Sculthorpe to Long. It's play on. Talau has it. Was it a charge down? No, it wasn't.
No, the
count plays on.
The ball played the man onto Moran's chest there.
Hyan almost through, but this is Edmondson at dummy half. We'll be back with Bill in a moment. Long angled kick, looking for Barry Ward. Oh, he's dropped that.
Well, again, a wonderful option from Sean Long, who's controlling things out there on the paddock with so much ease. But you can see the London defence, that there's no one there helping.
Might have been a question mark about onside for Barry Ward. Comes to naught. Bill, back to you.
Well, I was just going to say, Eddie, one thing that has really pleased the Saints coach is that kicking game, and Sean Long obviously carrying on where he left off in the first half with those instructions, and Tony Ray not satisfied.
No, Tony Ray will want more effort, and Thorman trying to provide it, but that's a poor kick straight into the arms of Hyan.
Well, he doesn't need to do that early in the tackle count when they are desperate, London, to create more team spirit. This is just a wasted effort. He cannot believe it, and he's every right to be mad, Tony Ray.
Tony Ray doesn't often react, but he did then. He's cool, calm and placid.
Come on.
But frustration on show there. Long, gone for a 40-20 downfield, and he's going to get it. Oh, it's just stopped in the long grass. And Sykes did well.
Great effort.
Because Gardner was hurtling after that. This is Joel Kane. Hat-trick against Widnes last time we saw him.
Did well to the fullback there to come back into the field of play. Sliding all over the shop, but this kicking game is getting stronger and stronger. Paul Sykes having to do a lot of work in that department.
Francis Stevenson. Oh, and Dennis Moran steps out of one challenge. Kieran Cunningham got to him. It's a good start to the second half by London. Thorman, Dimmock looking to offload, but no options.
No one doing it.
This is the last tackle, and Thorman trapped in possession by Willie Talau.
They've got to utilise the kick. I cannot remember London throughout this game having consecutive sets of 6. You've got to apply the pressure. It's a basic principle of the modern game these days.
This is Ward. They are completing their sets. And what's more...
But they're not getting them on the roll, Eddie.
What's more, St Helens have a penalty here for offside. Making no attempt to get back to 10, according to Carl Kirkpatrick. London, you know, only beaten by the Bulls in the past 7 weeks. They've come into this on the back of some great form. Saints with 3 straight defeats. But I think they've had their eye on the playoffs for a while.
Well, it appears that way. That's the reason why we said that Chris Joynt and Sculthorpe perhaps was ready 3 weeks ago. They knew they'd got the 4th position. It's good work by the coach Ian Millward.
Long, here is Sculthorpe. Great pass back on the inside to Hooper. Good job that the London defence in the shape of Toshak was alert to that. Hyan from dummy half. He's just held up short of the line. Still a couple of tackles remaining here. It's back with Long. They want it spun wide. Cunningham, and he steps away from Martin. Here is Willie Talau. The kick for everyone to chase. And Joel Kane knocks the ball dead. Another dropout here coming up underneath the London sticks.
Good work there by the big second rower.
This is the difference between the two sides, Steve-O.
Well, I just made that point, that they get themselves into a position to say, OK, the defence and the sliding defence is there, but let's just put the pressure on. Turn them around. Kane did well, he read it well, he got to it. Result, Saints have the ball. You just wear them down, that's how the game progresses.
Referee wants them to get on with this, London, even though Jim Dimmock is down and receiving treatment in the in-goal area. Back on his feet now, he's available to defend this next attack. Dropout arrives at Barry Ward. Barry Ward, who will retire at the end of this season, he's announced. The third goal line dropout that St Helens have forced. Edmondson, Talau, Martin got the tackle in. This is Edmondson again. Tries to straighten it up. Francis Stevenson, important tackle with Steve Trindle. Hyam, long, Sculthorpe, wide, quick hands. And Albert tackled by Andrew King. This is Wellens.
Now then, where's Sean Long? He's taking the first position. Got to be a kick. Will it be up or will it be on the floor?
There is Long. It's through and on the ground again. And Tony Martin took the gamble that Kieran Cunningham wouldn't reach it, and he didn't.
Well, this Saints side, with the way that Sean Long is controlling things with a kick, it's just turning into like toothache for the Broncos.
Martin Gleeson's not out there at the start of this second half. Bill, you have some news on him?
Well, that's right, Eddie. We saw him get a bang early in that first half. It turned out to be on the calf muscle, and he was taken off just before half-time. He's still sitting on the bench for Saints, but he's just been out warming up, and they reckon that he should be able to get back out there for St Helens.
All the coaches of the 6 teams in the playoffs will be hoping that their stars stay injury-free in their run towards the grand final.
Oh, that's wonderful defence.
Oh, that was dangerous.
Penalty,
that was dangerous.
He grabbed hold of him, spun him around.
It wasn't Cunningham, it was Talau, I think.
Yep.
Oh, the referee, I think, might be going to put this on report.
Captains, fellas!
He is.
Captains!
Looks like it. Talau certainly... now, Cunningham, big hit. Nothing wrong with that.
Captain!
Yeah, it could have been Edmondson as well. Both appear to have their arms on the inside of the legs.
2 men in the tackle there, Sean. The legs
Jimmy
have clearly gone above head height. We're going to put that on report and have a look at it. All right, speak to you fellas.
Great sporting gesture there by the 2 skippers.
Penalty or lifting, and the disciplinary committee will see if there is any case to answer.
Back with me, boys, back with me.
Well, former St Helens man Dave McConnell, 22, on loan from Chorley, is out there. He had 5 Super League appearances for the Saints in 2001, 2002.
Did you see that yet again, Eddie? It's amazing, isn't it, that when the opposition get a penalty and they kick it to there's always 2 balls on the field of play. That surely can't be just a coincidence, can it?
McConnell here. Trindle. Toshak. This is Dimmock. Good ball.
Good defence as well.
Yes, it was.
Jason Hooper wrapped them all up with a full back.
It was Purdom who was close. And this now is Trindle again. That's a big hit by Willie Talau. Whew. Last one here for London. To Thorman. Again, he's caught in possession on the last tackle.
Back on, fellas. Last tackle, hand on you, John. Back with me.
He's not impressed.
No, he's not. And Chris Thorman will be flying his trade in the NRL next year with the Parramatta Eels.
One relays. To me.
A wonderful game in the Origin, remember, for Yorkshire, was man of the match.
Well,
almost from that moment, he's gone a little bit into his shell.
Well, he's got to start putting in a commanding performance, you know, controlling things out there.
Well, the trip to Australia will help.
Of course it will, but you've got to take a leaf out of his opposite. Like, Sean Long is just completely taking charge out there. That's got to be London possession. It is.
I think the trip to Australia, Phil Clark, will make young Chris Thorman a better player.
Yeah, I'm sure. Well, he probably needs somebody else in his team to offer themselves as a kick option on that last tackle. It's too easy for St Helens to get up to him quickly, put him under pressure, and negate any threat that he can pose with his short or long kicks really towards the side. London have done pretty well in the second half, though. They've seen off the first 10 minutes without conceding any points, and they've got themselves back into a decent attacking position. Just need a few more players to offer themselves as options when they get now close to the Saints line.
To be fair to Thorman then, he was fighting a lone battle. That was McConnell, this is Dimmock, and here is Moran, and it goes wide to Nigel Roy.
Good tackle by Sculthorpe. Working well in attack and defence out wide is Scully.
Dimmock and Trindle.
It's all right doing the inside pass there from Jim Dimmock, but there's no one running as a decoy, no dummy runner.
Moran stabs the ball to the in-goal area. It was well claimed. I think it's Darren Albert. Is he in the in-goal area? He is.
Well, it looks that way. The Broncos are
surely
pointing.
The ball was in the in-goal area.
Well, it appeared that way. And if they did drag him back, then it should have been a penalty. You either have one or the other.
Well, he's now giving St Helens the penalty.
Well, I think Broncos badly done to there. It looked quite clear that the winger had gone into the in-goal area. Tackle wasn't complete. And if it had been complete, if the referee shouted hell, it should have been a penalty. He's bemused. Cannot believe it. Well, the official got it wrong.
Looping pass. Stankovic. Tried to go up the middle. Oh, and Dimmock and Cunningham.
Well, Cunningham shouldn't go take charge of everything and keep pushing everybody up. We see this quite a lot. And I think this could be a penalty to London.
He wasn't happy with the high challenge by Dimmock.
Nothing wrong with it. He got his arm across the chest, and then Cunningham takes control of it. But what's wrong with that? There's nothing. There was no swinging arm.
I've got to control the tackle. I can't have you.
You'll have to tackle a person like that. He's paid the price, and the officials got it right. We criticised him for the error just a few moments ago on the field when but certainly took the ball away into the in-goal area. Now then, this is a golden opportunity. London have to come up with a set pattern. And again, there's two balls on the field of play. Coincidence yet again.
Well, it's the crowd that's flinging them back, or it bounced off the roof.
Or maybe it's the ball boys that do it. We've got to stop this.
Tusk, tusk, tusk.
It's been going on for the last 5 or 6 weeks.
This is Dimmock. I think you're a bit harsh, actually. I think it's the crowd, Steve. I don't think it's any ball boys.
But it just seems to go into the field of play, doesn't it?
This is Budworth. Purdon and Moran. Stevenson back to Moran. And Newlove, well, he got to him, he delayed it. The ball's gone back and back again. This is Thorman! And Thorman! What an important tackle from Wellens.
Super stuff from the full-back.
McConnell off the deck. Dimmock, pass, great ball, another good ball.
What
and
great defence.
Defending well, Saints again.
Went for the power play, and rightly so. Nervous times for Tony Ray. 2 golden opportunities just thrown away. They do not have to give a penalty away here. They can't afford it. Good work from Thorman. Is he building in confidence? They certainly need him, and the defence is solid.
But 4 power plays from London on the last tackle. That's the indication, Steve-O, and confirmation of what you're saying. The kicking game's a little out of kilter.
It's not there, never mind out of kilter. It's just not even existing.
It was understandable in that one, and they've got the knock on here, London, against Joint.
Well, it's the first time throughout this game that London will get possession very quickly indeed. Can they turn the key to success? They've got to do something quickly. We've already pointed the finger at Dennis Moran. He just doesn't appear to be out there, Eddie. We've got to see something from him.
Well, there's Thorman. He misses out Moran and he finds Sykes, and the pass over the top was forward.
Yeah. King thinks he's scored.
So does Sykes, so does Tony Ray.
It'll be interesting to see this yet again. Oh, I'm not so sure on that one. It's maybe King just in touch. Touch in front as well. Oh, yes.
Let's go.
Deliberately passed by
and his hands forward, but
Yeah.
it shows you that doesn't look so bad on that angle. From the other side, it's clearly forward.
Well, that's why we can't
That's
go
why
to
we
the
don't
street.
go for forward passes.
Don't tell me, I know.
I'm only explaining.
Yeah.
Oh, that was untidy. Long did well.
It's Saints now that are losing their concentration a little bit. It's very sloppy from the red and whites.
Mickey Hyam.
And London just sensing something.
Come on, Matt.
And he knows that it's a crucial stage of the match, even though he has a 14-point lead. Sculthorpe.
The tackle from Roy. Been a great battle out there. Oh, that'll be the knock-on.
Well, the pressure is getting to the Saints.
Certainly is. They're trying to force it now. They were playing extremely basic rugby league football in the first half, and that's too fancy. And when you're leading 20 points to 6, you don't need to do that.
Let's go.
Just grind it away.
Plenty of time for London. They could turn this possession into points.
Come on, no penalties.
They need that
We
try.
will be in for an interesting last 20. Moran, kick over the top. They're looking for Thorman's pace. Wellens is quick.
Good positioning there. Great stuff. Thought for one moment there that Paul Wellens was going to continue on with after the tackle had already been called. A neat little chip over, but positional play by Paul Wellens.
Oh, it's another lift there. Sculthorpe getting on the back of Dennis Moran.
William Millward has to get the message out here. Say, listen, London are making it into a bruising encounter. We don't want that. They know they've got the quality and the skill to beat this London outfit.
And the referee's going to put this on report as well.
Certainly lifted.
The legs went up again, and he says it's consistent.
Stay consistent.
Yep.
Okay. Same again.
Got to certainly put him on the report. Moran has gone on the outside, but once the legs go over the top, Eddie, the officials, well, they're trying to stamp that out, and rightly so.
And he said, I'm going to be consistent.
And he is. That's why I've praised him all season, Mr. Kirkpatrick.
Back with me! Back with me! Come on!
St Helens then with the penalty will restart with Sculthorpe. He finds Joint.
Hold on! Release!
Hyam. Stankovic.
So release! Get off, Freddie!
Hyam to Long. Talau. St Helens trying to just close the lid here on London.
Maybe the 1 point
Cunningham.
Key factor here as well. That's play on. That's knock on.
Play first knock on.
From Cunningham. It was a big hit.
First knock on.
Well, you can sense the crowd here are getting restless. It was a heavy contact from Jim Dimmock.
That was a little high, wasn't it?
And since London have started to rough it up, Saints haven't looked at their best.
Here's Joel Kane.
One release! To me,
Harking back to that hat-trick at witness from him. To do with one or two of those tries here tonight. This is Erdem.
Well, that particular game, it was chalk and cheese, wasn't it? First half, awful.
Oh.
Second half.
Rexless drops it.
Oh. Just going back to Joel Kane, he had a shocker in the first 40. Certainly turned it around. You can see quite clearly, even has got so much experience, Steele Rexless, because eye off the ball. And a little look who was coming towards him.
57th consecutive appearance for Steele Rexless tonight.
Hey,
and Jason Hooper just giving the bonds of polish. So Saints with the possession from that scrum.
To me.
And it's with Cunningham, who plays the ball to Long. They go down the short side. Darren Smith. Another big hit.
Good defence from Dennis Moran. Didn't see much with the football in his hands going forward, but he's working overtime in defence.
Hyam tried to leap over the top of Rexless. He did, but hit a brick wall ahead of him. This is Chris Joyce. Good defence again. Hyam spins it to Sculthorpe. They have men in numbers here. Newlove's one of them. Good defence again from London to hold him out. Last one. Aidy Gardner waits. It's played to him. It's to Sculthorpe. A stab kick through looking for Long. And Sykes just hammers the ball over the dead ball line. Another goal line dropout coming up.
Typical example of the experience there from Paul Sculthorpe, realising that Paul Sykes, and when you look at the two full-backs, Paul Sykes has had a lot of work to do in covering the ball as compared to what Paul Wellens has had to do.
So yet another goal line dropout from London. That's good length. This pressure from St Helens, Clarkey, it's going to tell in the end.
Yes, it is. I mean, London have done well almost 22 minutes now without conceding a try. I just don't think that it'll go much longer. There's several aspects of St Helens play tonight. Hasn't been that impressive, but what has been impressive is the short kicking game. The number of goal line dropouts they've forced, really. Sooner or later will tell in the effort that you make. Defending one of those takes more out of you than any other time that you have to defend in a game of rugby league. And I just can't see how London will hold out for much longer.
Movement from St Helens. They're looking to penetrate this defence, but fair play to London. They're standing square to them at the minute. Here is Hyan. That's a good run from Hyan.
Great work.
The last one.
Quick play the ball. What will Long do? Will he throw out the long one? I've got a feeling he'll go the long pass.
Long has positioned himself. He's found Cunningham, and Cunningham has tried to go inside Thorman but couldn't get it away, and Martin has it.
Well, not the best finish. It was a good build-up. Good work from Nicky Hyan. Plenty of speed from the dummy half position.
Cunningham working hard at marker. Joel Kane made about 5 metres, that's all. Thorman to Sykes.
Get out! Get out!
Nigel Roy.
Oh, that was high.
It was.
Stankovic. And they're still playing into the hands of the Broncos. No doubt about it.
Saw that one coming, Nigel Roy.
Yeah, well, he got the arm up, didn't he? This is on its way, right in the mush. 20 points to 6.
He just looks a bit agitated, though, doesn't he?
Well, I wouldn't say he's too concerned, Eddie. All they've got to do is go back to basics. They've had a lot of work to do, the London side. And I get the impression that unless they score, to lift their spirits, they could tire in the last 10 minutes.
Here's Budworth, it's with Dimmock.
Well, that could have been...
That has come up for St Helens anyway in the shape of Wellens.
Losing the ball early in the tackle yet again. I thought Dimmock perhaps nearly gave himself away. Oh, that's a dodgy one on that tight line side.
Sculthorpe will be happy that he's got through 65 minutes on this his comeback match. Here's Joint, another one on the comeback trail as well. He has been spelled by Ian Millwood. Cunningham. Long, looking for a 40-20 again. Sean Long. Oh, it's a cracker. It's an absolute belter. Smile says it all. The applause from his coach.
Outstanding. He's been head and shoulders, maybe not in stature out there, but certainly the way that he has controlled this game. Plenty of room to spare. Bang. Nothing that the fullback can do about that.
So more pressure on this London line. And Dennis Moran coming back with a heavily bandaged head. What's the story, Bill?
Cut to the head, but it's not just that. I think Moran has got an arm problem as well. He was showing that to the physio, so he could be struggling.
One release! To me, fellas, to me!
Cut down by Martin.
Stay still.
Well, you've been saying all night that Moran's not well. But if you don't want a linesman's job or a touch judge's job, what about physiotherapist?
My fingers?
Joint still.
Release!
Still working hard in defence, London, but...
Hyan, here's Long.
You just wonder, when is it going to come?
Stankovic. Scrambling defence from Martin. He got the ball away. Oh, and he caught one then Long on the head from Dimmock. Dimmock immediately apologises.
Not so sure he's going to do Sean Long any good.
Stankovic. Nicky Hyan.
Are they going to go for the 1 point? I would be.
It's with Long. Delayed the pass, found Sculthorpe. Quick hands, that was off the knees and the ankles. A dab through by Albert. And another drop out coming up underneath the sticks for London.
Well, London just expected that they were going to get that possession back. And great work by the winger. He's Once Long gets it, oh, there's a swinging arm there. He could have been penalised. Perhaps should have been Jim Dimmock. I'm not so sure that he made contact.
Well, he's been the key man for London this year, Moran. Oh, that's going to find its way to the touchline. It is.
Crafty little kick there. Gardner is bemused, so is the coach. Now it could get a little bit tense out there. It's the whitewash, that's sufficient. Yeah, tried his damnedest. Well, will we see the real Dennis Moran? We've already found out that he has a problem with the arm. It's his legs that have got him over so many tries this year.
There's Joe Kane, good tackle by Sculthorpe.
If ever they needed something from Moran now.
And Nigel Roy with Cunningham and Darren Smith around him.
If they could just sneak over London, it would set the alarm bells ringing in the heads of this St Helens outfit.
Andrew Hamilton with the ball for London. Here is Dimmock. Now it's Thorman. Showed it to Budworth, gave it to Martin. Support there. Oh!
Was he taken before he got the ball? I think he was.
Joel Kane was on his way. Nearly went without the ball, but that's for a debate later. What can London do with this? Sculthorpe went for the interception. It's Moran. It's Moran to Retchless. They funneled him back this way. Here's Dimmock over the head and through the legs of Toshak, and another chance goes begging.
Well, he threw the dummy, took the option, did Dennis Moran, and I'm afraid he didn't come off.
This is Gardner for Saints.
I just had the feeling that they had the overlap there. Darren Albert had left the whitewash. They'd come in, he had to. And then they wasted the opportunity with very shoddy passing.
This is Wellens to halfway for Saints.
But the way that Moran went through there.
Terrific running from dummy half by St Helens. That's careless though. Hooper does well. Lost ground there though, Saints. This is Darren Smith. Down the right hand side, they go with Stankovic.
That'll be the knock on from Sculthorpe.
Whistle hasn't gone yet. Now it's over the sideline.
First knock on back here, Paul Sculthorpe.
Yep. Scully can't believe it, but he's got it right.
First knock on, Paul Sculthorpe.
Well, he's raised a few eyebrows today, is Carl Kirkpatrick.
It actually came off the London player that.
Certainly did, but maybe justice was being done early. I think the winger gets to it, yeah, King definitely gets to it first.
And then the ball was out over on the far side, and it might have been St Helens heading free. That's what the crowd were a bit upset about.
And again, not good passing between the players out there. The link has been very poor from the Broncos.
This is Toshak for them.
No, it.
10 minutes, just a little more to go. The end of London's season.
Well, it's one out stuff now. It's one out stuff from London. And a bit bemused out there.
Dimmock. This is Hamilton again.
Get off, Mickey! Get out, Mickey!
Budworth. Dimmock.
Great tackle from Cunningham. Finished him right off. Good play the ball though, quick.
Retchless. Dab over the top. Numbers there for Saints Gardner, but Retchless doing well.
And that's about the only option that the Broncos are being left. Little chip over the top and the kick.
To the line.
But I think they'd be better served if they sort of kick the ball, not just over the top, but stop panicking. Just push it into the in-goal area. You'll get the possession back.
Here's Stankovic.
Played his part, this big fella. With a lot of enthusiasm, both in the attacking ploys and, of course, in his defence.
Inside the last 10 minutes then. Long. Drills the kick over the top again, and that will stand in the in-goal area. Kane's got to run it back and does. Only as far as New Love, though.
He's virtually won the game all on his own, Sean Long. And I don't just mean by the fact he scored 2 tries. His kicking game has been nothing short of superb.
Release, make the turn, Newey! Hold, wait.
Clarky, you don't, sorry Steve, Clarky, you don't think that London just happy to be here. They wanted to make progress, obviously, didn't they? But their season justified in many ways by the fact they've made the playoffs for the first time. Oh, hang on, Moran! He's got support out wide! Oh, forward, and it was off from Paul Sykes.
He's known he's made a right boo-boo of that. The second occasion we've seen the speed from this fella Dennis Moran. Skipped away, Stankovic was left cold. And he really panicked here.
Well, back to that point, Clarkie, as Tony Ray again just holds his head. London have justified themselves by getting to these playoffs, but not distinguished themselves this evening.
I don't think they would be happy just to come here and play their part in losing to St Helens. They had every hope of winning. When they look back on this game, as I'm sure they will over the next few weeks, and the coaching staff analyse it, they'll be so frustrated that they had opportunities and they didn't play well here today. They played better on so many occasions this season. It's a strange penalty there. The marker's not stood square. Another one going against the London side, and they haven't played well. That's what will be. Chris Thorman, just can you see there? You've got to stand directly in front of Paul Wellens playing the ball, otherwise you'll be penalised. And that's what Carl Kirkpatrick did. Kicks failed to find touch, but been knocked forward and towed on now by Gardner. I think we'll take the first knock on. The game has deteriorated. Sean Long questioning why he kicked the ball there. And really, Saints as well, I don't think they'll be very happy with how they've played, but anyway, there's a scrum down here now. He tapped it back inside, didn't go out of play, went forward. Saints player should have dived on it. Gardner didn't. Scrum attack to Saints. What can they put on for us?
Clark here just get the impression that both these sides are very, very tired.
Well, I'm not surprised that London are tired. They've done so many goal line dropouts and the majority of possession inside their own half, whether they've been attacking or defending. You can see Saints just edging that possession, but it's where the game's been played that's probably also had a big factor on the way the game has gone. Sculthorpe just probing ahead there. You see 4 more minutes really inside your opposition half is a massive amount of time difference really in a game of rugby league, and it's the reason why Saints have looked dominant. But, you know, really I'm surprised in 30 minutes we've seen in the second half, Saints have failed to score a try.
They might hear, this is Darren Smith. They will. That will wrap it up for Saints. They will march on in the playoffs. Darren Smith with the try. And a terrific run of form for Darren Smith. He will be unhappy, Tony Ray. But Darren Smith, that's a try now in each of his last 5 matches. And that will be the killer blow. Saints will march on.
Certainly will. We've discussed about the link pattern. And as though it was a little bit sloppy, you can see that London's sliding defence failed to get through there. Jim Dimmock didn't have the legs to fill in the gap. And when the ball comes back on the inside, beautiful pass. Darren Smith took it well. Dimmock arrived far too late, left this man the gap. And for once, this St Helens outfit has got a good link going. Went through 4 to 5 pairs of hands. And as Eddie has just mentioned, that definitely will seal it. And the London side are left to just think about what might have been 2 golden opportunities in this second half, and he knows it.
Relief for Ian Millwood.
Well, the 2 breaks from Dennis Moran, if they could have conjured up the 12 points that was available, who knows? But it's all over now, and they know it.
So will St Helens be going to Wigan, or will Warrington be coming here next week? Long misses one. 24 points to 6. It's all over now for London. They've done remarkably well to get to these playoffs. It's a shame that it was maybe a bridge too far for them. But Steve, we're looking at Darren Smith. He looks like he should be on the back of one of those Hells Angels motorbikes with that the beard and the headguard.
It surprised me. You can remember those sort of days.
Oh yes. Older than you think. Tony Martin, it went backwards, he says.
Well, it was right in front of the official. Mr. Kirkpatrick differs.
Tony Martin was the case.
Well, but did it go forward first? It's hard to say. Yeah, that was going forward. Good decision by Kirkpatrick.
And the St Helens crowd now are chanting the name of Warrington, because They know that if Warrington win tomorrow, they will come here next week. They will play Wigan Warriors, will the Warrington Wolves, tomorrow night. The losers go out. It's Saturday, 6 o'clock, Sky Sports 1. And the winners of that will play St Helens next week. It will be either at Wigan or here if Warrington prevail.
And to be fair, London can feel proud of the effort in the second half. They knew they'd lost it after the first 40 minutes.
Well, to restrict the champions to 4 points is a terrific effort.
And when St Helens scored just before the half-time break, when Willie Tellau went for that long-distance run out wide, I think that most of the London players realised that they were going to be perhaps just that bridge too far. You can't fault that effort, especially in the second half.
Knock on, that's lost. It's been the story of London's night, sadly. He'll be disappointed. He was really confident that his team would come here tonight and play well and give a really good account of themselves. They have in patches, along with the kick. It's one for Gardner to chase. Joel Kane has lost it. Martin is there. And Tony Martin manages to keep the ball in the field of play.
And at 24-6, that's great defence. As well as seeing the field of play there, but just say it's great to see that the Saints, they know they've got this game won. To see a move actually from the base of the scrum, the little kick over the top, I don't think we see enough of that.
No, don't spoil yourself.
Bowden not happy. Being that it was a forward pass.
Come on.
And they don't deserve to have another try scored against them, mainly due to the effort that they've shown in this second stanza. But full credit to Saints.
Well, they're looking to finish with a flourish here.
No.
And they don't.
It's going to be very difficult for the other teams left in this competition, in the playoffs, as to are Saints back at their best. I don't think they are.
Well, on the evidence of this, no, but with the likes of Sculthorpe back with a full match under his belt and Joint back, they probably needed this to get the rustiness out of their system.
Yep.
So they've ended the run of 3 defeats.
The most important factor is the way that Sean Long has just controlled this game from start to finish. He's been a star.
Yes, he has. Here is Andy Hamilton.
To me.
Budworth to Dimmock. Here's Moran, and it goes wide. Roy and further wide. And this is Paul Sykes operating now on the wing.
Shown some clever touches when he's had the opportunities of fullback Paul Sykes, but yet again the sliding defence. Oh, it's a poor pass.
Been too much of that tonight. Been ball going to ground far too often for London. Last tackle here. Saints will maybe have it back for 10 seconds or so. Maybe not. This is Joel Kane. And it's play on. It's still play on, and Stankovic hammers the ball dead. Tony Martin was trying his hardest to get to that.
Well,
counting down to the next round of the playoffs. All over. St Helens march on. 24 points to 6. Hardly a classic. Tony Ray's season is over. But importantly for St Helens, the result, all that matters, and they were the better side. And this fellow has engineered the victory, Sean Long. But what a fantastic season from Dennis Moran. Top of the try-scoring charts for a second year in a row, and that's a Super League record. The first man since Martin of Fire, actually, to top the charts 2 years in a row. That was in the mid-90s. But Ian Millwood and his men will march on to the next phase of the playoffs. That was the #1 aim here tonight for both of these clubs. And will it be the last match at Knowsley Road? That all depends on Wigan and Warrington tomorrow night. John Sharp will leave the Knowsley Road scene this evening if Wigan win. And they have been a formidable team, these two. And John Sharp next year will be hoping to weave the magic at Huddersfield when Tony Smith moves across Yorkshire to take charge of the Leeds Rhinos. A victory for St Helens then. The champions begin the defence of their Super League crown at the business end of the season with a victory. It's a bit like a smooth car, not running on all cylinders, but they've won.
The best Sky One Sunday ever kicks off at 6:30 with an all-new Simpsons, followed by an all-new Malcolm in the Middle. Then at 8...
One of you will win everything you see around you.
a brand new series of Dream Team. It's anybody's game. At 9, we get an exclusive update on David Blaine. Now he's reached the halfway point. Then, in his own personal video diary, we witness John Leslie's Year of Hell at 9:30. It's all the entertainment you need from 6:30 this Sky One Sunday.
Just a routine chest x-ray?
Just a routine chest x-ray. I found out there's lung cancer. And you think to yourself, they must be wrong. It's the most aggressive form of cancer. You know, it just goes anywhere. You never think it's going to happen to you. There is something, because you smoked, that is eating you. Make your decision. Just make your decision.
If you want to stop smoking, call the NHS Smoking Helpline on 0800 169 0169.
When you take out an open plan mortgage, you also qualify for a borrowing rate of just 4.5%. Ideal if you want to make other important purchases. Call into your local Barclays or visit openplan.co.uk.
My dad says our house costs more than yours. My dad said it didn't. My dad says our car costs more than yours. My dad said it didn't. My dad says our TV costs more than yours. Yeah. My dad said it did.
Prices that are always low. That's Comet Sense.
The best range of weapons in beat-em-up history. Soul Calibur 2.
New Clean and Clear Blackhead Clearing Cleanser with a special formula to help remove trapped dirt and oil that can lead to blackheads. Clean and clear and under control.
Hurry up, Leslie! It's the Homebase Furniture Sale, and this bunk bed is now half price. Plus, there's an extra 10% off furniture until Sunday. Homebase.
As an astronomer, I find it very useful to use the internet for research. I'm in communication with observatories all across the world. I've been a BT customer for over 30 years, so when I came to go onto the internet, it seemed a logical choice.
Get your first month with BT Open World anytime for just $5.99. Call 0800 800 801.
Your eyes need watching over. By your mid-40s, they've had quite a journey. They can assimilate 36,000 bits of information every hour and can see a candle in the dark from 14 miles. So why can't you read something 2 feet away? The Vision Express people are here to help. With our Spectra varifocal lenses, all will become clear. Come and see us. You'll find us everywhere.
Tell me about your dream. It's like a movie. There's a sword in a stone. Behold, Excalibur. A magic cost-cutting sword. A magic cost-cutting sword. But it's stuck. And we can't get it out. What does it mean? Perhaps there are no more costs to cut. Perhaps you should be King Arthur? more productive. Sorry.
St Helens are through to the next phase of the playoffs. They will either travel to Wigan or they will be at home to Warrington, depending on the outcome of the second match tomorrow. Man of the match, well, he lasted the 80 minutes and he's got the watch. He goes home with the Tissot watch Paul Sculthorpe, he's talking to Bill.
Congratulations on returning to action and picking up a man-of-the-match performance. That's pretty satisfying.
Yeah, cheers, Will. Thanks to Tissot as well. You know, the main thing was get the win. You know, it's cup rugby now, and great performance.
It wasn't the prettiest of games, was it? But you got the job done.
Yeah, that was the main thing. You know, that we pick up the win. You know, there's a few errors in the second half. You know, good completion in the first half. You know, set us a good platform. You know, slip a ball and you know, probably trying to force things at times, but you know, grounded a good win out.
Well done, Paul.
Thanks, Bill.
And let's bring assistant coach John Sharp in. Farewell to Knowsley Road. Well, maybe not farewell to Knowsley Road for you tonight, but to go out with a playoff win like that, satisfying.
Yeah, very satisfying. We were given a job today and we completed it pretty well. London created us a couple of problems, particularly second half. Our execution of the last play is a little bit disappointing at times, but it's about winning these games. It's about playoff football.
Well, you'll have one eye on tomorrow night then. Wigan and Warrington. How do you fancy that's going to go, or who would you fancy?
Both sides are playing pretty well at the moment. I think it's going to be a classic game. I think it's too close to call. I'm not a betting man, and I look after money pretty tight, so I'm not going to bet on that one. But it's going to be a great game.
Thanks, John.
Cheers.
John Sharp on his way to Huddersfield, but when? Next week, the week after, or after the grand final? Tony Ray's season's over. He's with Bill.
Tony, it was the first half that did the damage. Fantastic second half to only concede the one try, but you didn't do yourself justice maybe in that first 40. Would that be fair?
Oh, no, I think we showed up. I was really happy with the effort, actually. The boys were competing very hard inside of it. You know, a couple of one-on-one plays here and let us down, but been a great week. Thought they handled it really well. Enjoyed the experience. Very hungry, very much hungry for more of that, and keen to put it inside of our culture.
And that's the key, isn't it? I mean, you've been here now. Obviously, you've got the taste for it.
Yeah, and it's that's what experience is. That's exactly what it's about. You know, getting in here, feeling it. We enjoyed the week. We wanted to be here next week. It was a real motivation for us because we were enjoying everything we were doing. I was very, very pleased with the effort. I've been very pleased with their effort throughout the season, and they created some opportunities. Probably our kicking game, if anything, was a little bit. You know, I thought of the two things inside of the game. Theirs was good. Ours was, you know, not so good. So, apart from that, it was a fantastic effort from a super bunch of blokes.
Thanks, Tony.
Cheers.
Disappointed, I'm sure, Tony Ray, but proud of his players. And why shouldn't he be? They've had a fantastic season. They just came up a little bit short on this, the first night of the playoffs. But Clarkie, London, if they keep this team together anyway, in part, they will learn.
Yeah, I hope they do. I hope they start next season in a better fashion too than they have over the last few years. It's been the starts of the season that have let them down. With regard to St Helens, a lot of what they did tonight wasn't that impressive, but the defence on times was very good, very strong. And I thought one thing that John Stankovic stood out to me towards the end of the game, in the dying seconds, he prevented a try, kicked the ball over the goal area, and I just thought it epitomised really St Helens' attitude to defend that line with desperation. They'll need to do that in the rest of the playoffs and play a little bit better in attack.
Well, they've shown us in the playoffs in the recent past whether they can defend Saints, and they certainly can. A coach will tell you, you know, that a win is a win. Doesn't matter if it's by 1 point or by 101 points. And Paul Cullen will be hoping it's a 1-point victory for Warrington tomorrow night at Wigan. And Ian Millwood will be pleased with the fact that they're through.
Well, full stop, mission accomplished. You don't get through to the grand final on points difference. You know, I'm sure not the convincing victory performance that some may have wanted or possibly expected, but that's sufficient to get them through to the next round, and they can build on that. You know, Paul Sculthorpe comes away with a man of the match. I thought his presence tonight lifted St Helens, and I'm glad to see. Took a lot of bashing around that back area, and he came through, and that's a big lift not only for St Helens but also for Great Britain at the back end of the year. But I just do feel that there's a number of the London Broncos players sat in the dressing room as we speak now, just thinking, geez, you know, we've blown it. Their top end of the field game was very, very poor. Failed to put sufficient pressure on St Helens, and who knows what may have happened if they'd have done so. The kicking game, as Tony Ray quite rightly pointed out, was simply not good enough to win games at this end of the season.
Fair enough. London will be a little disappointed. St Helens, though, Steve-O, a little bit like a luxury car, not firing on every cylinder, but the important thing from their point of view, joint Sculthorpe back, and who knows what the future holds now.
Yeah, they'd have to feel pretty confident about it. They know that they can improve on that performance. Okay, they were sucked in a little bit in that second half. Full credit to London. We said before the game kicked off that it would all come down to the quality of the two halfbacks. Well, I'm afraid Moran and Thorman did not click at all today. The kicking game was poor. We saw a couple of runs from Moran, but they were totally outplayed by their opposite, Sean Long, and of course Paul Sculthorpe. They fully deserve the win, but there's still a lot of work to do.
A lot of work to do, and where will St Helens be next week? Will it be here against Warrington? Just look at his eyes light up when you say that. Or will they be at Wigan against the Warriors? Big match for you tomorrow.
It is, you know, and just to pick up on one more point that Tony Ray mentioned, it's all about experience, and we don't have that many who have been in this week. So regardless of the outcome, you know, and we are going to the JJB confident not only of a performance but of a result, but it's about what we can learn from this. And you know, a number of our guys really do relish the fact they're going to go up against some world-class players at Wigan. The full strength, you know, all the names they have are going to be on the field, and you know, we expect fireworks.
Oh, and so do we. And Steve-O, can Warrington do it?
Yeah, of course they can. I mean, it's sudden death football at any level. You can come up with a shock, and I'm sure that, as Paul Cullen has just mentioned, with a little wry grin, it'll be tough, and it will.
There will be fireworks on show tomorrow night. But coming up this evening, in fact, right now on Sky Sports 2, golf, second day of the Texas Open. You can pick that up if you retune. And we have another fantastic weekend of rugby league coming up. The Roosters and the Bulldogs is live on Sky Sports Extra in the morning, 10:30. The minor premiers against last year's beaten grand finalists in Australia, the New Zealand Warriors, Sunday, 10 o'clock, Sky Sports 2. We'll know who the grand finalists are, and we will know whether it's Wigan or Warrington to face Saints after the match. It's a sudden death playoff tomorrow night at 6 on Sky Sports 1. We wish our good friend Paul Cullen all the best for that, and we'll see you tomorrow at the JJB. Goodbye.
The Super League on Sky Sports is sponsored by Stan James, your best bet for all the action.
Sunday at 3, Sky Sports 1. On Ford Super Sunday, a big win in the Carling Cup. Now David Fleet looks to kickstart Spurs League form against Man City.
Unstoppable!
But first, with Premiership Plus on Sky Box Office at 1:30, it's Charlton against Houlier's recharged Liverpool. Sky Sports subscribers can order this game for just £6. See channel 433 or call 08705 160 160.
Got a grow bag?
Okay,
Mrs. Hosepipe, what green fly slugs?
Wildflowers with multi-purpose compost, and then just greenhouse garden makeover. Any window boxes, plant pots, new bark chips. He would never water the
Okay,
seedlings.
Mrs. Hosepipe, hardy perennials with shrubs. Organic compost, maybe cactus. We're watering all we can.
With the second box from Sky, you can watch 2 different programs at the same time on different TVs.
He's gonna be hanging baskets.
Starting in tomorrow's Sun, there's a hands-free mobile kit and £5 of free Virgin calls offer.
Hello?
Ooh, save yourself an injury with a hands-free mobile kit and £5 of Virgin calls free.